Chris Christie, the governor, really limited that program. And so
Really?
because of that, New Jersey's really been like, unless you're dying of cancer, it's pretty hard to get access. And even if you get access, the quality's been noted to be problematic. The prices are exceedingly high. Regardless of other programs, New Jersey's had a pretty rough go of it. Hopefully now, but like that's to say that, we've really expanded. I think there's almost 90,000 patients today,
Hmm.
which, we've seen other states expand much quicker.
Right.
But given the fact that still most of New Jersey focuses on the traditional market, the medical program is really starting to get up to speed. And that's
So
to say, like, New York is really where, New Jersey and like PA, Philly as well. It's like there's a cross section in culture of like the cannabis industry, where you get it, who you smoke with, how you smoke it. New York's always had that East Coast flavor,
right.
that parts of the country really also have.
Right. Now, it has it trickled down? I mean, when I talk about trickle down, I mean as in has it reached all aspects of politics as far as like the policing?
Yeah,
Are they turned up still? Are they like,
yeah.
as soon as they smell it, are they arresting you? What's the conditions on?
So I think it's pretty subjective still here.
Right.
There's definitely, I think there was a big ad. I'm not sure if you guys saw it, but it's like we're talking $150 million a year in costs related to over 30,000 arrests a year,
Right.
mostly people of color.
Right.
You know,
Very true.
especially
Usual
in
bullshit.
areas like Camden and Newark, where
Hmm.
there's a lot more policing.
Hmm.
I grew up in Montclair. There was definitely plenty of policing on cannabis,
Hmm.
but it's not the same as these other more urban areas where there's a
Right.
lot more cops.
True.
So
And
it's definitely still an issue, but there's been a lot more smoke shops. There's
mhm,
been a lot more CBD. There's
mhm,
been a lot more of everything, basically.
right.
Acquisitions in New Jersey are
Right.
pretty aggressive right now with the big MSOs. There's
Mm,
been a few acquisitions. The Montclair shop just got acquired like last week,
wow.
and those
So,
licenses are multi-licensed. You get
right.
more than one as being those early shops.
Hmm.
So New Jersey's like getting pretty corporate pretty quickly,
Right.
in terms of the medical to rec strategy. But at the same time, some of these shops are looking to be the better shops, and
Hmm.
then some of these shops are also, the
Just trying to
the
make
quote
money.
unquote offenders,
Uh,
in the industry.
yeah.
But I mean, I don't. New Jersey's always was going to be corporate. Nobody really thought it wasn't going to be corporate.
Right. Right.
Um, we're
But that's
hoping
that
that,
that that seems to be America, really.
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
it's when we, I mean, Europe in Holland and Amsterdam had that sort of capital of the world,
Hmm.
in cannabis kind of thing, and then when California became legal, and the laws of everything had to be pre-packaged, and brands had started really, there became the aspect of branding and building businesses around cannabis
Hmm.
rather than just smoke shops or cannabis shops. Really, it became growers and brands and stuff like that.
Hmm.
And we really did see that sort of capitalism and sort of commercialization of cannabis. Um, and I think now that that's been done, there isn't really anywhere that's not going to take that sort of route when it comes to how to build their business, because it's normal business now. It's
Yeah.
business as usual, but within the cannabis industry.
Well,
yeah,
I think with the taxation of a lot of these different parts of the companies that are trying to go into this cannabis industry, I think that that's all raising the bar for how much they got to pay to get into it, how much they got to pay just to stay afloat, employees and everything like that. I think that this still goes back to the question, legal market cannabis or traditional market cannabis. I think that there was a post that I saw on the Blacklist XYZ. Shout out to them, where they were talking about how fresh cannabis is when it's in the black market, and how old it is once it gets to the shelves that are in, the stores and stuff. And that's because of, we got to do this thing the right way. We got to have metrics. We got to show, seed to sale paperwork. Everything that they're doing is trying to keep up with the hoops that they're making them jump through to stay legal. Now, that translates to the price, that translates to the quality of the weed. You know what I'm saying? That translates to every facet of the business. And I think that that's not just a hindrance, but like a deterrent for people that are trying to get into the cannabis industry. Those that are surviving in it, I mean, they got greatly deep pockets. Lots of investors, lots of boards of, whatever they calling them. And it's not just like you or me that's like, you know what, I want to do a startup mom and pop. Let me get my business open. Is that what you're seeing too?
Yeah, so I was at an event in 2019, I believe November 2019. It was one of the big NJ cannabis, like it was a NJ Wheat Insider, NJ
Yeah.
Weed Insider, NJ Cannabis Insider.
I remember that.
Solid event, a lot of networking opportunities. And I asked one of the, I believe it was one of the state senators who was speaking, will we see a craft license? Because that's what you're talking about essentially
Yes.
is
Yes.
there's a license in Massachusetts. You buy 5,000 pounds, or 5,000 pounds or less, and
Hmm.
you can like make a product like a gel
Wow.
or cream or
Yeah.
maybe edible something. It's still there's that market's a little bit
Gray
less
area.
mature, but
Okay.
it's getting there.
Hmm.
But they at the event I was at, they said, craft license maybe not yet, because they really want to build out the program. But like
Right.
you're talking about, like barrier to entry is just absurdly high for the little guy.
Hmm.
And it's a consumer packaged goods business at the end of the day. Like you
True.
basically, whether it's a flour container or a
Hmm.
bag of Doritos,
Yeah.
there's logistics, there's packaging, there's manufacturing. Um, and so those all are going to involve costs. Whereas you saw in the traditional market, you have, some solid flour or
Yeah.
really good product, whatever it be, that doesn't really face all those regulatory hurdles. And there's plenty of traditional market operators that do operate more or less like a legal grow in
Right.
every but some of their packaging and some of their regulatory tracking.
Yes.
But
They can
other than
skirt
that,
some of
it's
that. Yeah.
and so like there's not going to be a situation today where you see a legal operator like making room for the little guy outside
Oh
of, I
no.
believe Chicago's trying. Let's see how
Hmm.
that goes.
Yeah.
I'm not holding my breath, to be honest. So like and that's the truth. It's like people are going after the money, to
Right.
like any other industry, hardcore, guns blazing in some
Hmm.
cases.
Yeah.
I
I have
think
a
the thing
friend.
about this industry as well is that this industry is such a like people that enter this industry usually are trying to make a lot of money.
Right.
Even the small guys,
Yeah.
you know.
Profit.
Yeah.
Profit.
I think selling weed in the traditional market was always seen. I mean, some people did it for the love, but there were a lot of people that always saw, especially the selling part, the
Oh
vending part,
yeah.
saw it as it's an easier job.
Hmm.
There's no customer service, there's
Hmm.
no requirements of packaging, there's no requirements of this, there's no requirements of that. These things weren't needed. They weren't like, at the end of the day, it was looked at as, well, if you want your bud, just you have to buy it off me.
Right.
There's no if
Yeah.
and buts about it.
I'm the
And
man. You got to come get it
yeah,
from me.
that's generally
Yeah.
what we see even from a lot of the small guys. I think,
Hmm.
like I say, there are people who do it for the love, but I think that's just the mentality when it comes to weed.
Hmm.
And I think that what we're seeing is the legalization, the change that we're seeing right now in the industry is going to completely change that, because there is a lot that's needed from you to succeed in this industry. There's a lot that's needed from you to even enter this industry
Right.
on a legal basis. And that's actually usually the case with a lot of industries, you know, especially when it comes to, like you say, consumables, like food, you know, to start a restaurant or to open a coffee shop. There is actually quite a lot of, I mean, it's not as much as weed, but there is licenses and stuff that you have to pay for. And
Inspections.
inspections, and you have to do tests, and you have to go to this and that. So it kind of makes sense. But Greg, before we go any further into we, I actually want to learn. You know, we want to tell our listeners more about yourself, and how you got involved in the cannabis industry, and what is your involvement in the cannabis industry as you would like to see it. You know.
So it's funny. I was working at an industrial firm during COVID, and actually COVID related layoff a few weeks ago. So I'm in an interesting point. I was a research analyst. You know, I've been investing in stocks most of my life. Fortunate enough to have some family knowledge that, you know, I was able to obtain that, you know, helped me do that.
Right.
And so because of that, you know, knowledge, I've always really been interested in the cannabis industry from like a this is the future type of mentality. Like, you know, there's a lot of money, but it's also really important for a lot of people. I think I was maybe 17 or 18. I saw one of these like old school, when I say old school, like early 2000s, so not that old, like videos about like smoking and how it can benefit people with, I think it was multiple sclerosis, or like these different pretty serious diagnoses that can really alter your life. And how like this guy, he takes a hit and he can more or less talk, more or less, you know, chill on.
I remember this video. It's such an iconic video.
Yeah, this is one of those older documentaries that was on Netflix.
I've seen
I
it.
think.
Yeah.
So I think we've all seen this, and the mentality, the takeaway really was like, wow, why are people trying to like
Stop
prevent
this?
Like, I get it if people are worried about like criminal acts. Like, I get that. I don't necessarily think they should be criminal acts in many like, you know, scenarios.
When they try and place it onto like a criminal organization or something like that, yes, I'm all for that. Like, you know, gangs.
This is the thing we've realized, and we've said so much, damn it, that the main reason and the biggest bad thing about weed is the fact that it's illegal, because when it's illegal, it allows for criminal organizations, it allows for people to grow shitty weed that's going to give you you know, mental health issues, or is going to affect your lungs because it's sprayed in certain shit. It's not the weed itself, it's the fact that we've let weed into the wrong hands because it makes a lot of profit because
it's illegal.
You know, so
and then they do overregulation, which you're seeing, I'm sure, in California, where you have, you know, some guys, they were moving their entire lives, they've been doing this, and now they're on the shelves at wherever, and they're sitting there, and they're, you know, losing their mind. They're like, I've never had this kind of inventory lag, because people just bought it because it was available. And you know, that's going to be a lot of people in this legal market right now. I mean, you go, I was just in Massachusetts. Massachusetts, you know, believe it or not, is great in terms of quality. If you look, it's not great everywhere, but if you look, like everywhere, you know, people have good stuff, people have bad stuff, but the price is still unbelievable.
Oh,
and
really?
why 25 people get to sell weed in that state right now.
Wow.
And they all get 3 licenses.
That is crazy.
And they're going to expand the program, but right now, you know, they want to reward the people that were there.
Right.
And,
so this could potentially grow to like larger amounts of shops that are only owned by those 25, or
so that's where we got to see. Chicago just did that type of thing where you have 5, you get 5. Now, like, so I have shares in a company called GTI. Some people might have mixed opinions on them, which I don't blame, because, you know, they're big money cannabis. They seem to be a pretty decent operator in terms of the business and the product. Then you got the other companies like, you know, I'm sure you guys have heard of True Leave in Florida. True Leave makes more money than anybody. It's unbelievable. $40 million last quarter in free cash.
Wow.
You know,
Wow.
the people are losing money in Canada. These Trulieve guys are making a lot of money in Florida, and they're gonna
Wow.
probably just spend it on, you know, a 3 license or 2 license or even a 1 license shop. They just did a deal in PA. So, like, that's where I come in terms of my focus, like,
That's
in
what I
the
was gonna
invest.
ask you about, like the stocks and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah.
How
You
deep is
know,
that going? Because I've been looking at stock options and everything like that. My guy over there, Bearded Pharaoh, I know you know, like
Yeah, I mean,
worldwide.
I think stocks became way more interesting and much more bigger part of like sort of mainstream knowledge after Bitcoin. You know,
Yeah.
after that whole
yeah,
surge in Bitcoin, people started really looking at, okay, well, I can invest in stuff. And then so many apps started coming up that were like, just put a fiver every month in me and I'll
yeah,
invest in the top things and
Yeah.
and
make
then,
you
dude,
money.
COVID blew that into greater proportions
Yeah.
because people can't gamble on sports. They're betting on, you know,
Stock.
Apple shares.
Yeah. The
You know,
question
some
for
people
someone
are
like
riding
yourself, because I'm
stocks on.
interested, did that do any good, or did that actually make the industry worse, or did it not change it?
I mean, listen, like, what's the answer? Like, you can say yes, like, there's a lot more information out there. I
Yeah.
know that, you know, Curaleaf's Provincetown store is, you know, basically falling flat in their expectations. We're talking about,
Oh,
or in like the most expensive town in Cape Cod, or one of, and it's like, I
and they
mean,
can't
I was
sell it.
there. There's a line. There's not a line, but these people were expecting it to be selling like, you know, hundreds, if not thousands, of patients a day, and it's not doing that. Um,
Wow.
and they said so because, you know, if you start saying, "Oh, Curaleaf's not doing well in their home state," they want to get out in front of that, so they're gonna, you know, tell you. So there's that aspect of like,
Right.
there is a little bit more honesty. Then again, you know, I don't know which operators are illegally backdooring product.
True.
If I did, I'd probably want to sell my shares because we
Yeah.
saw what happened with that cushy punch thing. I don't even know if that was a big deal in the like the actual what they were doing, but they still got caught and now
Well,
they're under fire. And it's like,
yeah. Well,
so
I think
So,
what.
so,
Yeah. Go ahead. Because I
so
was
I was
gonna
just
say I
wondering
seen them. I saw them in the
what
back
you're
door.
saying from, because I didn't, I'm actually not very familiar with the story. So I'm guessing it's a brand that got caught selling backdoor, and I'm guessing their
I don't even know if
company
they
is
got
now
caught with
facing.
backdoor as much as they got caught having stuff places that it shouldn't, is
Right.
from what I
Right,
understand what they got in trouble for.
That
right,
yeah, because
and
Having
basically they were able to find it, you know, and then link it back to them saying, well, you
now
guys,
now
this is
what's the
part of your metrics.
consequences of that over
license
there?
That's
revocal.
yeah, there
License
you go.
revocal.
Yeah,
So
this
you
is
just,
this is
Yeah.
insider trading at its
and your
Yeah,
best.
stocks just
you're talking
go.
about big money moves being made by the regulators, real big decisions being made, multi-million dollar impacts from this
Right.
type of.
And correct me if I'm wrong, cannabis industries aren't I mean the term stocks for cannabis industries, they're not. I saw something, I think it was on the blacklist the other day
Yeah, they've been
about,
talking about stocks more.
Yeah.
yeah, about how like who was it? Was it Higher Times or High
Yeah.
Times? That they don't, you can't actually buy stocks as a cannabis brand or a cannabis industry. It's like you just
So
make your own stocks.
so
Yeah. How
the
are
high
you doing
times
that?
the high times thing is weird. I would definitely not buy that.
Mhm.
Uh, I would stay away from that in terms of
Oh
investment. But
yeah.
in terms of how it works, like that isn't a way to raise money. Like, you sell people a security, it gets listed, it gets filed. If nobody buys your security, nobody buys it. But
Right.
people can offer stock direct listing. The way they did it was weird because they thought their consumer facing nature would help them, but people kind of looked at it as like, well, what do you really do? Oh, we're going to
Yeah.
buy dispensaries. Well, supposedly, I guess they defaulted on a lease or two. I'm not exactly
Yeah.
sure.
It
That
looks
was
like they
just alleged. I'm
defaulted
not
on a
sure.
couple of leases. Yeah, 15
Yeah.
Yeah,
million.
so like
Wow.
that stock is not the way some of these other companies are doing things. You know, they're raising a lot of the money themselves through what's called a private offerings, where they broker it themselves, they find the money themselves, they do all the banking work without the bankers because the bankers can't do it.
Yeah, so
Um,
because federally it's illegal, they can't actually
yeah,
be on a
but you
public
can raise in
system.
Canada. So that's how a lot of these American MSOs are organized. Is the stock is listed on the Toronto Exchange.
I see.
We find a
I
way in.
I
see.
You
I
I'm
see.
slick
talking about can't
motherfucker,
buy that
you.
through. Yeah, so I can't buy that on my Robinhood. So you go onto like a more established brokerage like E-Trade or Fidelity or one of those, maybe
Yeah.
UBS, and you buy it through them because they will. All right, give me some money, give me fees, and I'll buy your stock. And I'll hold your stock.
No
I don't care.
shit.
It's
No.
not illegal in the sense that like the government is going to go after. Like, think about it, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is the United States government.
Yeah. They'll find a way to make it legal and illegal when they want you.
They're gonna arrest the people who are doing it the way they said not to,
Mhm.
Right.
and they're gonna reward the people who are doing it the way they said to do it.
Right.
Mhm.
Not
Which
only that is that they're not going after people who hold the shares. Those are
no.
the rich people.
Yes. They're
I
going
mean,
at
so like if you can't afford to do all those regulatory things,
mhm.
then what are you gonna do with a license if you can't afford to do the regulation? So there's like, all right,
Yeah.
barrier to entry as high as possible.
Yeah.
I mean, so
Yeah.
like stock stuff. There's like
Mhm.
4 companies that are now being talked about as the big 4 in cannabis. You got
Mhm.
GTI, Trulieve, Curaleaf, and then Cresco or Coronis could be talked about as that 4th.
Man, write this
Cresco,
shit down, man. I'm gonna buy me some stocks in a minute, damn
yeah,
it.
I mean,
Shit.
I'm buying the stocks because it's like, well, look, like, I'm not gonna get a license. I don't
Right.
have
Yeah,
that money.
Right.
yeah.
I don't have the expertise in consumer packaged goods. I don't have the expertise in cultivation.
But you
But
have the
what you
You
can
know
expertise
how to
in
do,
invest in
businesses
stocks.
and what they seeing what businesses are looking like they're on the road to success and
yeah.
investing in these businesses in hope that
I,
you're going to get return on that back, which is basically what this is
Yeah.
really.
Yeah, I
It's
see this shit like saying like, yo, I know that the new shoe is coming out and it's gonna do big numbers and everything like that. And if I bought my stock ahead of time, I'm gonna be buku bucks. I could triple, quadruple my money off
Yeah,
of this one or two stocks. You know what I mean?
yeah,
yeah,
And with cannabis, if you know this is hype, like let's say you bought some cookie stock and
yeah,
that's publicly traded. I'm just saying as an example because I don't know shit.
yeah,
But you
yeah,
throw that out there, and then somebody, happens to like, I think what did they drop right now? Not Gary Payton, but
yeah. That was what
Scottie Pippen.
Jason.
Scottie
Scott,
Pippen, that was
Yeah, that
great.
shit.
That was just ridiculously good marketing.
Oh
come
yeah,
on,
Like there are a few businesses that have truly gave me that sense of like, yo, I admire that move. And
mm,
what the Backpack Boys did
yeah,
at the time that they did it with the
yeah,
person that they did it with,
yeah,
and the way that it was done and the signings and
yeah,
yeah,
everything is incredible. But we're
hundred
really
percent.
starting to see um like I saw, Cypress Hill on his podcast, he has the Godfather a lot. If you remember the
Yeah,
Godfather from WWF, the
yeah,
Good
yeah, yeah.
Father, sorry,
Uh-huh.
the guy that was in Nation of Domination and stuff like that. So
Hmm.
you're starting to see so many celebrities like come out. Obviously, not just the ones like Mike Tyson and
Yeah.
Snoop Dogg that were always really big with weed, but like people who you didn't really know. Obviously, they smoked, but they
Hmm.
didn't shout about it. Are starting to get more and more involved and I think that is because it raises the stock. It raises
Yeah, it does.
the,
dude.
the
Martha
brand.
Stewart. That's it.
Martha
There
Martha
you
Stewart.
Stewart.
go. There you
There you
I
go.
mean,
You
go.
she did
always
Yeah.
knew
that
she had a bit of
show.
badass in her, though.
Yeah,
Like
people talk about her like she's an OG, like she has bodies on her, and she's
Right.
out here
Cause she
flirting.
went to jail and came out, didn't tell
Yeah,
on nobody. She's solid in my books.
yeah, man. It's so
Mm,
funny too, because she was making like, all these cookie recipes, and now she's like an
yeah.
OG. She put her on like the Scarface poster next to
Right.
like yeah, it's
Yeah.
brilliant.
and
It's
Come
Tony
brilliant.
on.
Soprano.
Put her
Yeah,
next to put her next to that Huffington chick or whatever that got her
yeah,
kids into fucking USC or whatever. Put her next to her and her fucking 6 months or whatever, man. Man, fuck that shit. I'm running with Martha, homie.
It's
Yeah, yeah. But it's also this is the other thing is that also is that like she didn't lose no rep like with her other audience. You did what I'm
Yeah,
saying? She didn't lose no rep when she came back. Her cooking shows and everything like that, stock was still up. You did what I'm saying? And that's what I
I
mean
think
is
I think tax people are much more easier to understand not paying your tax. A lot of people don't really want to pay their
oh
tax. So when someone goes, I didn't really pay my tax, it's like
nah, she
it's
was
yeah.
so
insider
easily
trading. She was
for
insider
It's the
trading,
forgiven.
bro.
same.
It's the same thing. It's
It's
the
Oh,
financial
worse.
crimes, man. I
yeah, it's
wanted
like
that money. I don't care.
yeah,
I wanted that
yeah.
money. I don't
It's
care.
to me,
Yeah,
to me. I think it's always looked at that sort of financial,
Yeah.
like
yeah,
even fraud and stuff like that. People
yes,
don't care with stuff like that because you're hurting the government, who
right,
already have a lot of money, who already are taking a lot of money off you,
right.
and I think a lot of people are like, well, if I had that information, I'd use it.
Yeah,
If
true,
I
true.
Yeah.
had inside information, I don't I'm not I don't I'm
I
not saying
mean,
I will.
Yeah,
not to go off topic, but dude, the guy who's buying the Mets right now,
right,
my family's Mets fans,
right.
unfortunately. The guy who's buying the Mets right now, Steve Cohen, he
Yeah.
paid I think it was 1.6 or 1.9 billion dollars in fines for insider trading, fraud, all kinds of
Wow.
security
Yeah.
violations.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
he
yeah,
just cut that check and his business stopped taking other people's money for 2 years.
yeah.
Right.
And dude, he's back at it. He's
Yeah.
out here. He made
No problem.
$1 billion last year in fees.
I think the thing
Wow.
is that honestly, it's like it's a again, not to go off topic, but when you just go for it,
Yeah.
you know, with things like that. I mean, if you're making that money, you're gonna get fines. You're gonna pay it.
Yeah.
You're making
Yeah.
money. What
That's
the
that's
fuck
part
is
of
money to you?
business.
It's
I
money,
know it. Yeah.
but when you go all out, you just know that even after you take the hit, fuck it, you're gonna start all over again, and you're gonna build that money all over again because you've
Yep.
still got your contacts. It's the way that you know how to make money. It's your
Yeah.
job,
But
And so it's interesting.
back on topic, I'm talking
Yeah.
about these motherfucking stocks that are cannabis related and everything. Like you said, I'm still like kind of like baffled that you can't just like go to you in certain states you can't even have weed, but you're still able to in that state buy stock legally in these cannabis businesses. You're
Yeah,
able to
it's wild. If I was in Texas, let's say I moved to Texas tomorrow,
yeah,
no medical program.
yeah,
Their hemp, they're starting to let people away with weed because they don't want to spend on testing, but that's here or there.
right.
The the state would not come and knock at my door and be like, "Oh, we saw your E-Trade account, brother. Like, we gotta fucking talk about this, man."
Yeah, let me
Like,
search your
Yeah,
house for weed and
yeah.
all of that. I'm
yeah,
always checking you and all of that. They're not gonna
yeah,
do
no.
that.
So like, it America's weird like that, where like the investment is okay as long as it's above board. It's the having it or doing it that's not okay.
It's not just America, man. I think the whole world has its ways of fucked up. Like
Yeah,
here, like here, it blew my mind to know that I could buy seeds and feminized seeds, legally. But
yeah,
But what the
but
fuck you
I
gonna do with
can't
them?
put them in a pot.
that's
You
wild.
can like chuck them in your mouth or something like that. That's it.
I can't put them in a
What do
pot.
what do those guys say? They say it's like a decorative product or
Right.
what?
Yeah, it's like decoration
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
it's just I
here.
don't think it's like they don't check. I mean, dude, there's grow shops everywhere, and we've always been like, if you want to catch a grower,
Yeah.
just sit outside a fucking grow shop, see
Yep.
who the fuck comes out
Buy
of it.
nutrients and
Like
shit.
that
Yeah.
person who's just walking out with a black bag full of nutrients or fucking pots, any house that's associated to them is
Yeah.
probably growing a bit like it's
True.
not rocket science. They're just not. One, there's
Yeah.
so many people doing it, like you say, they don't want to spend the money on it,
Right.
and for two, it's like, you know, it's
Yeah.
weird. It just doesn't make sense. It's like I don't
Just
know.
stop.
I don't know.
Damn. Just
I don't
stop.
know.
Damn.
Yeah, like I
Please
don't
just stop.
know.
That's what I'm saying.
yeah.
Just stop. But I like I said, I do look at the. I'm looking at now. I'm just opening my eyes up to the whole stock option type of thing. Within the last month or so, I've been thinking that myself. Like, yo, like fuck Skechers, fuck Jordan and all of that. I'm not putting my money in they stocks, man. I'm thinking more practical. Like, what brands do you think, as far as stocks, do you see potential in, man? Because I just want to pick your brain on
So,
that real quick.
like, I have two different answers. I got the cannabis focused answer where, like, I got some weed stocks I like. I got some like diversified strategies in terms of, you know, not just the plant. There's a real estate company that I like. think I posted about it today actually. It's called company called IIPR, Innovative Industrial Properties.
Hmm.
They do sale leaseback deals with growers. So like
Oh
you have a
shit.
20-40 million dollar cultivation, you know, you need money for your expansion, you need money to double your cultivation, you need money to open
Wow.
a new dispensary because you just grew out your cultivation, you need to move like whatever. You
Yeah.
need
That's really
money,
clever. That's
they
awesome.
will buy it, and then you get a good lease deal, and it's like a
Wow.
20-year lease.
Wow. That's
And it's
dope.
basically the no difference other than the paperwork and the
Right.
financials in terms of your usage of the land.
Damn.
Um,
See, see, to comment on that, that for me is generally where like it's what I've always thought in terms of when we say the smaller players.
Hmm.
I kind if I would have guessed how the legalization aspect would have went, what I would have guessed is that at the start it would be difficult for smaller players and it would be more easier for people with money. But what happens is the guys with money then come in and go, well, how can I make money off these smaller guys who
Right.
don't want to pay a big lump sum, who want I'll just do it for them, and then they can spend the next 30-40 years paying me off, which is generally how most smaller guys in industries come into the game. It's loans and it's investors and it's all
Yeah.
that sort of stuff to get that money. So it's really awesome to see that it's already happening, that some companies are coming and saying, well, you can't afford the expansion,
Right.
I'll
We can
do it
help
for
you.
you,
Yeah.
you know, and then you can pay me off monthly and I make like 20%, you know,
Yeah.
yeah.
off the cost,
So
which great.
there's a lot of companies like this in different industries. You know, most UPS and FedEx facilities, the
Mhm.
distribution, the warehousing, that's all investable from like what's called a real estate investment trust. That's what this
Wow.
is. Same thing.
Real
I was
estate
big into
investment
cell phone
trust.
towers years ago. Cell phone
Wow.
towers, man. If I had held that stock, that was a winner. It
Wow.
pays out. It pays out, and it grows. So when I say payout, it means it pays a dividend
Yeah.
and it grows. So you
Wow.
reinvest the dividend, buy more shares. You can, you know, you invest enough money at an early enough age, and you can become wealthy. I made different decisions and bought things that were like risky and blah. But like, if you just buy basic, like boring. When I say boring, I mean literally the land on the side of the highway that
Yeah.
a cell phone tower is on.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
not sexy, but
Yeah.
money. And
Wow.
so stuff like that is out there for the cannabis industry. This is the one that I like. There aren't really others. By the way, this isn't like the little guy getting help. This is like the biggest of boys needing $40 million.
Yeah.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
it's still that angle that's like,
But
I
it
think,
shows it shows a direction, which
yes,
you
yes,
know,
correct.
it's pretty cool. That I think it always starts like that. It always starts with the bigger boys and then it finds its way to the smaller guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like other stocks, like I like the big cannabis MSOs, you know, GTI,
Right.
Trulieve. I don't know. I want to check out their mask shop when that opens, but like I like them because they make a lot of money, and let's just say leave it at that. They
Right.
make
That's
a lot
good.
of
That's a
money.
good thing for everybody,
Yeah,
really, because
yeah,
if they're doing good, you're doing good. You know what I'm
Yeah.
yeah.
saying? So
Well,
Yeah.
invest in that.
Hell
that's a
yeah.
big story that is going to be in the news the next year. Is how Jungle Boys and Cookies come to Miami, and
Right.
you know play with Truly, see how they like their market share
Hell
messing
yeah.
with.
Right.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, because
I
I'd like to
mean,
see that line going
I
around the
mean,
corner for some Scottie Pippen. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
He'll, being hanging out down there in Miami and signing
Yep.
jerseys and shit.
Yep.
Yo,
dude.
Yep.
that's gonna be
It
amazing.
worked.
That was one thing I wanted to talk about. Is like, dude, Florida. As much as it's like it's Florida,
Right.
dude, they have 420,000 medical patients as of yesterday, and
Wow.
you know they're selling 120,000. Okay, no, here we go. 45,000 ounces of smokable flower in
Wow.
Florida. That was a week.
Wow.
Wow.
No, that
I
was a
mean,
2 week period. Sorry, eight. No, that was a week.
the money
So
that runs through these brands is really no joke.
Ridiculous, man.
Yeah, it's
And
really no joke.
yeah,
And it comes from it's understanding how much money goes through cannabis in the cannabis
yeah,
world. Like that's a big sort of argument to legalizing
yeah.
weed is making tax off this crazy amount of money that, then the government, it's like, yo, give us something, we'll give you something, it's
Right, man. No, they seeing the money. Come on,
you
man.
know
Look. I always, I'm gonna reach back again, but I just saw that post today where they were talking about what was it? What little state is this? Pennsylvania was talking about how much money that they could be
Yeah,
bringing in.
hmm
$581
yep,
per year
yep,
in
yep.
tax
yeah.
revenue.
They
What
have
the
a fast
fuck?
growing market.
The
Illinois is a
fuck you
fast
waiting
growing
on?
market. Pennsylvania, Illinois, and Florida, and then maybe I'd say New Jersey because it's going wreck and nobody knows how much money there is there.
Hmm.
There could be a billion, there could be two, nobody knows. But like Illinois, Pennsylvania, Florida, that's what
Yeah.
these MSOs are looking at right now. That's
Right.
what they're focused on. That's where they're spending their money.
Yeah.
And that's also like, Florida is crazy how they have that many people. You'd think that would be like a small program. You'd think it'd be a really limited program. No,
Shit is
they want their
No,
huge.
no.
money. Yeah, Florida's also happens to be like the when we were talking about before white collar crime fraud. Is
Yeah.
Florida like the fraud capital of the United States?
Oh,
By the
is it?
way, yeah, and you can
No, I
like
mean, it's Florida. I
you
mean,
can
Florida man is deep out there,
it's
yeah,
it's it's
they're
real.
wild boys. They're wild
It's
boys.
real. It's
huh?
real. Like that doesn't surprise me, even as someone who's never been to the United States.
Yeah,
Right. Well,
you can
Yeah.
finesse somebody and then put all your money in your house in Florida, and then or like put it in your wife's name or whatever that you have to do,
yeah.
and then it's just like you're good. That they
Mm-mm-mm.
might sue you a lot, but they're not getting that house.
I
Wow.
just really, some of the laws in America are just so strange. And I do find the whole states thing really, really strange. The state laws
Yeah,
and the federal laws.
Yeah.
That is, I think, the biggest thing that doesn't make sense to me, because at all times, you're always like, what am I, like, what law am I under now?
it's like
And
50 different countries, man.
yeah, dude. And
Yeah.
it's like,
100%.
it's like even here, in Great Britain, and the United Kingdom is four countries,
Wow.
and the four countries do have their own laws, but they're kind of also regulated by the laws of the United Kingdom, which used to be kind of regulated by the EU laws.
Yeah,
But
Wow.
now they're leaving that, and Scotland was, so it's always just that whole confusion in politics.
It's
We
like five
don't
people
know.
over you.
Yeah, we don't know what we're seeing. So, like, the lockdown in Scotland can be different from the lockdown in England. It's
Yeah.
not a country wide lockdown.
Yeah.
yeah.
um
And so to go back to what you were saying before COVID, man, like COVID is really making New Jersey's cannabis program expanded. I would say significantly because everybody's worried about the money. There was a hedge fund manager in New Jersey a few years back that left to Florida, and it really hurt New Jersey tax. He made a lot. Not kidding. It's
all right.
ridiculous
He
that this
heard
is a.
about that money.
He was making I think $2 or $3 billion in a 5 or 6 year period. And then he also
Damn.
has this whole that's him. He has this fund, his fund, those guys are making millions of dollars. Their
Wow.
employees that aren't running the fund that are just, other departments in the business, they're making good salaries, even if it's not like millions.
Really?
He moved the whole thing to Florida, and we've been really hurting since. So, COVID with the sales tax and the alcohol tax and all the business, gas tax really hurt us. Nobody's driving.
Right.
Um,
Wow.
we need that
Wow.
weed money. We need that weed money
Oh
bad.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I would say because of everything that's going on now, those weed stocks are looking good because of New Jersey and Arizona in November. PA might do it their own way through the legislature.
I mean, yeah, when they talking about damn near $500 million a year just being slipped out the year
Yep.
out the back door, they mad. They
Yep.
need that.
Yeah, and
Yep.
So
Philly could use the money.
yeah, I
Philly could
say,
use the money.
man, fuck the policing of it, man. Get to the money, y'all. I think it'll
Yeah,
be a benefit for all of us if we just get to the bag. That's my
I
thing.
think this is the thing with it, is that weed is always going to be looked at in two perspectives. One is it's just a plant. Two
Right,
is it's a fucker of a commodity.
right.
You
Yeah.
know, like there's no, it's, and I think that's why people get so,
Well,
there's such a disconnect between vendors and consumers.
yeah, I mean, just the policing of it still is making money in a sense too. You know, just the arresting of people and stuff like that. Man, those are paid hours and shit like that, and confiscation of crops and taking property and stuff like that. There's money in that, so
Mm,
let's not forget they are still cashing in on it in some way
Yeah.
or another.
Yeah.
It's definitely not just going out the door right now.
yep,
So
definitely.
um, we would just want to get it to another arm of the government to pay them in a certain way. Now,
Yep.
And
when they see that this is taxpayer money that they can get, back to the taxpayers in some way, shape, or form, instead of just, policing it. Yes,
Mhm.
billions of dollars is going to be able to be reinvested into their states, like through schools, through just like the lottery is, right? You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like, fix some shit.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
man,
The
please.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because, like, the tax money is what the state reps and all the governors, they care about. But man,
Right.
jobs is
Jobs.
the name of the game, man. Property taxes, sales taxes,
Yeah.
people going out to eat,
Yeah.
people going to businesses.
Mhm.
Maybe one day we'll go to the movies again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, jobs, 100 or so positions per license to start in New Jersey was what they were hiring. Like,
Right.
100 people at Verano just opened a spot called Zen Leaf. They have Zen Leafs around, but Verano, they're one of the Chicago companies. They hired like 110 people,
Uh-huh.
and they have two more licenses, and they
Really.
could open another cultivate. They could expand their cultivation maybe.
Mm.
They built their cultivation in an old Walmart in the middle of nowhere in New Jersey. It was wild to see that. Like, all kinds of real estate is going to be used. Like these
Yeah.
malls.
Mm.
My dad does a lot of stuff in real estate,
Yeah.
specifically like analyzing it and for his job. And he does a lot of stuff with malls.
Mm.
Nobody's going to the mall the way they did. Even after COVID ends,
Right.
it's going to be different. If I'd be shocked if somebody doesn't take over an entire mall somewhere in the Midwest in a few years and turn it into like the biggest grow in the country.
Yeah.
That's gonna be amazing. You know what? I
Yeah.
don't know if you guys have malls out there, shopping malls. Like it's like an indoor.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, we you have to realize as well, coming from Egypt, Egypt is a very Americanized place.
Right, right,
Um,
right.
so it really has taken
Mm.
the sort of way of life and built itself around what, especially when it comes to how to make money.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, some of the malls that we have, shopping malls that we have in Egypt are I've never seen anything like it here,
yeah.
in Britain.
Right.
There are some shopping malls here,
Yeah,
but even one of the big ones that are supposed to be one of the big ones around me, it's nothing compared. So I know
yeah,
what, like, a big shopping mall, you have, like, multiple cinemas and ice
yeah,
rinks, and
Yeah,
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 like, it's like worlds inside a world,
yeah,
and
yeah,
it's
yeah. Pretty much.
it's fascinating. It really is fascinating, but it's a lot of money. Like,
Right.
it's hundreds
Well,
of millions project, if not
see,
more.
I can see them, using some of these places like that, man, like an indoor grow, like you were talking about, man. Even that, and I've seen Jungle Boys, man. They have like I think it looks like what is that shit called? Where they have like storage places and shit like
Yeah,
yeah.
that,
yeah,
and
yeah,
each
yeah,
one
Storage
yeah,
is
type
yeah.
of. Yeah,
yeah,
it's very, very heavily designed warehouse, but like it
yeah,
looks like everything is contained. I mean, they're like, I don't know, but you're out there, you know better than me. But
yeah.
from what I understand, they're probably one of the better, in terms of reputation out there.
Yeah, I've seen it, man, and it looks great. You know, their rep is going,
Is this
you know, better
Jungle
and better.
Boys?
Yeah.
Very well known on the East Coast, even though they don't have anything going on here other than maybe like
Yeah.
They
people buying
seem
it
to
and
be
sending
really,
it.
really well known, but they seem to also be. I think I've heard very
Mhm.
different and mixed opinions. You know,
Mhm.
I've
I
heard
still haven't smoked
um,
their weed yet, so
it's.
like I
I
ain't
mean,
even gonna
I've
lie.
smoked some of their weed that's been great. I've smoked some of their weed that's been really bad.
Yeah,
And I
I yeah. So I don't know what's good because the packaging is just out there.
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
They've done well with their marketing.
I tried something that scanned out. It was okay, but it was like a few months old because
yeah,
the
yeah. Of
mailman
course.
takes his time.
I think the thing is like if where we're talking from it from a stock perspective is it
Yeah.
doesn't the quality isn't really what we're talking about here. But
No,
like if you want to talk
no.
about like brands, talk about like Cookies and Jungle Boys. They are
Wait,
really two brands that have
that's
fuck
what
the
it
quality.
is.
They've made it out there. Like
Yeah,
no
A
matter where you
household
are in the
name.
world, you know Jungle Boys, you
Household
know
name.
Cookies when it comes to weed. You know Cookies. I think are going to do well any country that they go in, and I think any country that
Yeah.
makes it legal, they're going to be there. They have places in Barcelona.
Mhm.
I
Tel
think
Aviv.
yeah, in Tel Aviv. I
Tel
think they're
Aviv.
going to open in I
Yeah.
think they're going to open something in the UK as soon as the because Burner has a lot of ties to the UK and he knows
Yeah,
that dude. I've seen Burner repost like small Scottish head shops that sell his papers. You know,
yeah.
Wow.
from that I know from then that the owner of that shop has been crazy and he's like, well, I'm gonna stock Vibes as much as I can. You know, he's
Yeah.
clever at just getting people to like him and want to do business with him, and he's always out there, he's always putting
It's
himself out there, so he's done
Burner's
great
such
for
a
his business.
he's such a funny topic for me because I've gone back and forth on him a million times. I love Burner. I think he's interesting beyond interesting of a
Right.
character
Yeah,
in the industry like that. But like, he says things about things, and I'm like, all right, man, relax. Like,
yeah,
do
yeah,
your thing.
yeah,
Stop talking about this and do
Yeah.
your thing.
yeah.
But like, then he will do this marketing stuff that is just like he might
Unbelievable.
be the
Yeah.
smartest marketing guy in weed. Like, it's
Right.
Unbelievable.
possible he is.
It seems
He's
And
natural to him as well, you know. It seems
yeah,
like
it
it's not
is.
even marketing, it's just what he
And his
does.
hip hop connection
Cannabis world
is
seems to
deep
like.
now.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
His
He
hip hop
went from
connection is deep. Yeah.
he went from being one of these like underground guys to being like the underground guy that's got the plug and
Yeah.
Right.
everybody wants to work with.
Yeah.
And
Like I say, I mean, love or hate his brand, love or hate his
yeah,
music, you cannot sit there
No.
and not give him all the credit in the world for
Yeah.
what he has achieved. Because no one, I mean, we even say Cookies and Jungle Boys. I mean, I would still put like not in terms
Yeah.
of quality, but in terms of being
No.
known, there's still a little bit of a gap between them. You
Oh
know,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
between first and second,
Jungle
they're
Boys
just
is
out there.
definitely
Cookies are
Los
unbelievable.
Angeles. Definitely
Yeah,
Los Angeles, but Cookies is worldwide,
worldwide.
global.
It's worldwide,
Yeah.
global. He's the
Yeah.
first
And
global
Global
company,
brand.
one
yeah,
hundred
Yeah.
they
percent.
so they call that brand value. They You see these charts of like Apple as like 500 billion brand
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
Burner's brand value, I would say, is uncalculatable because
Yeah. I was
he's
looking for
doing.
my bag I had for an example. It's like when you
He
see
has
that
his hands in
color.
everything.
Oh, did you get one of those bags?
Yeah, I had one,
Oh man,
man.
those things
I
are
just,
wild.
yeah, it's like I said, it's all I'm saying is that like you got brand recognition, man, 1000%. Like you can't even see those blue and white letters without referencing
Yeah,
that, and
yeah.
that's something
It's the
that like,
It's
Coca-Cola of weed.
yeah, yeah. It's
It's the
not the
like
thing about him as well is
that's it.
it's not even just the weed, it's the music, it's the lifestyle, it's no other cannabis brands have tried as much as they have tried.
mhm,
There's no one even close to
mhm,
building the lifestyle brand that Cookies has built because like I
yeah,
say, it's not just the weed. Like you will always fuck with Cookies even if you don't, you know, if you're just
yeah,
like I say, the head shops, they buy the Vibes papers, they'll
yep,
buy the Cookies rolling tray, they'll buy the
yep,
Cookies merch. They can't sell legal weed, but they're selling Cookies. Cookies is out there
yeah,
everywhere,
Well,
you know.
that when I've learned about the whole Cookies, Jungle Boys, all these guys, Runts, all these guys with their lifestyle brands,
right,
it's brilliant business. It is
Yeah.
not just these
No.
guys grow good.
Yeah.
It is they are smart people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they're selling the whole shebang. It's
It's a
Not even
lifestyle.
you're I know you're talking about the ecosystem, but it's more than that. They get
Yeah.
the copyright on the
Yeah.
name.
Yeah.
You can't sell a product called
Yeah.
Jungle Boys. You can't
Yeah.
sell a product called Cookies. I have a backpack and a pillow and a
Yeah.
t-shirt that all has that product branding on it. Now I
Yeah.
own that. Even if I can't brand my cannabis legally, I can brand other stuff with the same names,
True.
Yeah.
and then that I own that
True.
name.
True.
And that was like maybe 6 months, a year ago. I connected those dots, and I was just kind of blown away at how
Yeah.
sharp some of these. Dude, I saw the Jungle Boys advertisement he put out. Man, he looks like he went through it before he got to where he is now.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
yeah.
saw the video
And-
where he's like getting thrown out by his mom. Like, dude, that's heavy
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, look, I mean, Jungle Boys
Sharp
Boys
dude.
have strange opinions, but they're doing what they've done is absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
And
Well, I don't mean to speak to any individual company on what I don't know enough in terms. I'm just
Yeah.
talking
No. Yeah.
talk about how just
branding.
what they are. Yeah, dude, and it's
Yeah.
you can't take that away from them. That's the
Yeah.
big thing is that you just cannot take that away from them because
They are
it's
into it.
real. It's there. Yeah, like there's no
They got
there's no ifs and
billboards
buts
over here
about
on
it.
the fucking freeway by my house. So like,
Yeah.
yeah, man.
Dude,
So
we have smoke shops doing billboards out here, but that's
wow.
about all we have in terms
Yeah.
of that. I haven't seen a public question one billboard yet.
Yeah.
But
Nah,
the
you
the
see it.
fact
I'm
that
on the freeway and you see Jungle Boys right there, you know,
Mhm.
and the address. Go pull up on them or something like that.
I
you
saw
know?
those in mass for those, but I can't believe that, like, me being right near New York, like being in those types of circles, people know about Cookies and Jungle Boys the way it seems like they're lining up in California.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I wanted to say about that, um, Berner has like a deal with different states.
Right.
Like, I think he's gonna actually own that shop in Florida. But like, dude, he just signed a deal in Nevada with GTI. He has a deal in He has a deal
Yeah.
in Maryland with a different
Mhm.
company. A deal in, Seattle. You know, I'm not sure how many of those he owns versus how many of the cultivation partnerships. But
Right.
like, he's like doing grow as a service businesses with
Wow.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Yeah.
this software shit, it's crazy. They're
Wow.
smart. And
Wow.
the legal cannabis guys, the guys that I'm invested with,
Mhm.
I don't know if they're really ready for these LA guys,
Yeah.
these California guys.
Well,
no,
this,
it's the level of work is crazy.
yeah, and I'm glad that we got a chance to talk to you, man. SourcatJack, man. I'm really excited to like check out some of these stock options and shit like that, man. Like I'm really gonna be keeping my eye on the business end of it as things progress, legally or illegally, because I think no matter what, it's still going to create a situation that we can all profit from. I would
Yeah.
like it to go, regulated and, get everything baseline here. Like, every state has the same fucking law, good or bad, whatever it is. All of this bullshit where, in your state you can and I can't in my state
Mhm.
shit. That's bullshit. I'm done with that, man. But
Yeah.
as far as the stocks and stuff like that, man, I'm excited to get to it, man. I'm glad you came on to the show, my
Oh
guy.
man, thanks for having me,
It's a
guys. Really appreciate it.
it's a very interesting part of the cannabis industry that I
Yeah.
don't think a lot of people appreciate or understand.
No.
And yeah, it's honestly been a pleasure to have you on to speak about that. And I know that there's so much else that we want
Right.
to talk about because we want to talk about, we want to talk about like the current affairs and
Yeah.
who you're seeing grow and who you're seeing, going
Yeah.
down and differently how COVID is challenging these companies as they go forward. But unfortunately, we are
Yeah.
coming to the end of our hour today.
Yeah.
And I think we just have to get you, back on the show soon to
Oh,
speak
definitely,
about
man.
all these things, man.
Definitely. I'd be happy
And
to.
yeah, 100%. But it's been an absolute pleasure today, my
Yeah.
dude. I'm gonna take a
Let
last
everybody
dab with
know.
everyone.
Yeah, well, we let everybody know where they can find you. On Instagram, you can find him at SourcatJack. And are you on Facebook and stuff like that?
I put out my Twitter is
Okay.
Gregory Silvers 2 on Twitter. And I also write on Seeking Alpha occasionally.
Okay.
Going to be putting some more stuff out there, and I don't know. We'll see. I have a few other handles that I might start plugging on SourcatJack, but I haven't really established those yet. So let's
Yeah.
leave it with those two for now. But yeah, you might
Okay.
see me more and more on the social media circuit.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah, and
Damn it.
hopefully we'll see you a lot more here as well.
Yeah,
To like I
definitely,
say, because
man.
this conversation and the information is second to
Yeah.
none, man. It's
Gold.
really amazing, definitely.
Platinum.
Thanks, man.
Yeah,
Platinum. Like I
yeah.
said, I'm definitely. We all got these apps that are linked, and you can find a way into some stocks and stuff like
So
that.
much
And
easier. It's so much
yeah,
easier now.
it
Like before,
is.
to get into stocks, it was nowhere near as easy. But now it's so easy that having that information can literally be critical in time where people are looking for multiple ways to make a little bit extra money.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely, man.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, it's honestly though, we need more people looking at the stocks because it can't just be the rich dudes
Yeah.
making all this money on weed. It's
Yeah.
got to be everybody trying to
Right.
get a piece.
That's what's up, man.
Because
Like
it's
you
only
said, jobs.
there's only going to be so many people that get licenses.
Yeah.
It's restrictive by design.
Right.
And
True that.
so if you can, get your money in or, trade, there's different ways to do it.
Hmm.
We can talk about that more next time, I guess,
Yeah.
in terms of
One
Definitely.
strategy.
hundred percent. One
Yep.
hundred
But
percent.
yeah, it's definitely something that if you're not looking at weed stocks, you should be looking at weed stocks.
And that's
That's what it
the
is.
advice of the
Oh,
day.
Yeah, smoke one and check them out. Damn it,
yeah.
One hundred percent.
Thank you, my
100%.
guy.
Yeah,
Damn
man.
it,
Thanks for having me, guys.
we
Pleasure, dude.
we really appreciate everybody that's been showing up over here on Twitch. This upload will be going over there to YouTube. Check us out there on the 420 E-sesh on YouTube, as well as on Instagram, the 420 E-sesh. I am Dammit Main. You can catch me on Instagram at Dammit I Am. My co-host Bearded Pharaoh Reviews 420. You can catch him there on Instagram. That's the BP.
Yes up. Yes,
Yep.
sir.
Catch some more content from our other cannabis creators on this channel, the 420 E-sesh, like the Terp Queen, West Coast Weed Reviews, Canosaurus Rex. We got some great content coming. Please stay tuned. And damn it, we will be back. We're out.
Yes, sir.